Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello, dear students. We have completed, alhamdulillah, our unit 3, and we are going to start with something interesting. We have something new to discuss in our lesson today. So let's just go back and revise what we did in our last lesson before we start with the new one. We have our last lesson, the unit, what will they think of next? We had a project to prepare together. The project was to take a closer look at your neighborhood or an area in your town and think about changes that have been taking place over the last year or two. Now, we discussed many things that you can just think about and different projects around you that you may discuss with your colleagues, and you can just form or do your project together. Now, there are many ideas that come in mind that concern, of course, these changes that we witness every day. Now, these changes can be related to signs and traffic. Also, we have changes that are in projects that we see in front of us. We have also schools. There are many changes that have been applied in schools, and you can see that there are things that are better now, and we have different systems and different subjects and topics to study at school. So this is also something that you can make your project about. We have also public services. We have also streets and sidewalks, and we have an important part, which is communication. Now, even in communication, there are different things to discuss together and just witness the changes and see around you what are the changes actually. Now, since the last one is communication here, I want to just focus on the word communication. Now, it is a big word that has many ideas in it. Now, communication, when I think about it, communication is, of course, related to the word technology. Now, technology here, there are different things that are related or connected to technology also. So we have here communication, we have technology. Now, technology is one topic that is always associated with the future. So since we have a lot of linking together, we can see that first of all, we talked about teamwork. And then from teamwork, we focused on individual achievements. And from these achievements, we thought about the future and what are the things that are going to happen. And now we are linking between the future and the technology that we witness every day. We are going to see what is the thing that we have ahead of us. So we can say that we have technology stretches widely and includes many fields. What are the things that come into your mind when you think about technology? We can see that one of these things is television. Now, this leads us to our unit, the new unit, Unit 4. Now, in Unit 4, we have the topic. Can you guess what is the topic here? You can see that I mentioned something about televisions. So we are going to study in Unit 4 the world of TV. So we have here the 4th unit. We have the world of TV, which is actually an interesting topic. There are lots of things like Unit 3 that are interesting to know, and they are main topics that you can just share with your colleagues. We are going to start, inshallah, with our first lesson, which is going to be the listen and discuss. So let's see what we have in our lesson. Now, first of all, before we begin, we have the objectives. Number 1, to enumerate film genres. We have number 2, to give personal thoughts and favorite film types. Number 3, to understand context through selected words. We have number 4, to recall movie titles. We have number 5, to give the meaning of new vocabulary. And we have number 6, to differentiate between good and bad messages embedded in movies. So we're going to move on with our lesson, a very interesting lesson here. We're going to start with something simple, just a thought here. We're going to brainstorm together. Now, what do we have? We have the question, how frequently do you watch television? This is a simple question. Now, just ask yourself, or you can ask one of your classmates here, how frequently do you watch television? Leading us to something else here. Now, we have In your book, there is a question. What is your favorite TV film and why is it your favorite? You can discuss. This is an interesting discussion here. So just to explain, why do you like a certain program or a TV film? Also, there's another question in the book we have here. Which of the following genres do you like the best? Now, there are many genres that you can watch. We have, for example, animation, comedy, adventure, and so on. And we have the third question here. What's the worst TV film you have ever seen and why? So everything has a reason. If you say that this is the worst thing that I have saw, so this means that there is, there is a reason. Why didn't you like it? Why did you decide that this is the worst? So you can see that why here is a big part. So either you like it or you do not like it. You must explain why. Now we are going to move on. Before we start with the topic or the lesson which is in the book, we have here hadith. We're going to read it together. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول اللهم جنبني منكرات الأخلاق والأعمال والأهواء والأدواء. So here, this is something very important. Now, even if we're asking about our favorite movies or favorite programs to watch here, now it's very important to put a limit, and there is some kind of self-reflection, and that you are respecting yourself and you are just watching yourself and decide what is good to watch and what is not. Now let's play a game. Now this lesson is an interesting lesson because we are going to play a game which is something different from the usual lessons that we take here. Now what is the game that we have here? We are going to name the TV film. So the book mentioned paragraphs or parts that tell you about a certain movie or a film. You are going to guess what is the film that we have. So we are going to see, before we start, there are the words or the vocabulary that we have in our lesson, the lesson and discuss, just to pass by them so they can be familiar while we are listening and guessing what are our movies. Now you can see that we have here 8 words. Just guess what are the words with me. We have try to read actually the words. We have the first one. Try to read it. We have abrupt. Then we have animated. Read the third word. We have prominent. And then we have the word untimely. In the second part, delusions. And then we have capture, simple word. And then we have, read it, prestigious. And the last word, conspiracy. Now, maybe some of these words are familiar, you already know them. If you do, good, you're going to focus on the other words. If not, we are going to pass by them and learn together. So we are going to study and listen and read at the same time. Open your books, please, on page number 48. We are going to read and discuss the lesson on pages 48 and 49. So let's start. Now, we are going to do something unusual here. Of course, we have the first film that is mentioned in the book. Now, we are going to see the first part. As you can see that I have covered the most of the paragraph. Now we are going to see, do we understand what is the idea of the film that we have here just from these simple words? Now this is a way to show that sometimes you can understand the whole idea without reading every single word. So see if you just can understand what is the idea or what is the movie. Now we can see that there is something about science fiction, action, adventure, which means that we can have a film that has more than one genre. People, we have save. Now there is something mentioned about dinosaurs and an island. We can say that also, we can read that there is something about the theme park. The theme park was closed down or abandoned. There is a volcano mentioned, and which is of course threatening. There is something about rescuing, and we have remaining dinosaurs. So have you ever watched a film that has the idea of dinosaurs. We have a volcano rescuing these dinosaurs and something that is related to a theme park. Do these things come in mind? Have you ever watched something that is related to these words? And we can complete with something that, of course, we have here erupts, the volcano. We have last surviving, and a very important word, which is conspiracy. Now, I'm going to highlight the word conspiracy because it is one of the words that we discussed in the vocabulary. Now, conspiracy, we can see that conspiracy is something secret or harmful. So we have here and harmful, not or and harmful at the same time. So some people, they make some kind of conspiracy against other people. We, of course, mustn't be one of these people. So we have the idea of conspiracy here is something that is done secretly, and also it is harmful. So conspiracy is one word that is mentioned. Now, based on the words that we read together, can you guess, or did you guess the film correctly? Now it's our turn to listen and guess in another way what is the film that is mentioned.
About the story, this science fiction action-adventure film is about the efforts of a group of people to save the surviving dinosaurs on Isla Nublar, a fictional Central American island in the Pacific. 3 years after the Jurassic World theme park was closed down and the island was abandoned by humans, a dormant volcano on the island becomes active, threatening the dinosaurs living there. Claire Deering, the theme park's former operations manager, and Owen Grady, the park's former velociraptor trainer, set out to rescue the remaining dinosaurs before the volcano erupts and destroys the island. While Owen is looking for Blue, the last surviving velociraptor, he uncovers a conspiracy that could change life on the whole planet.
Okay, now after that we have the second film. Did you guess the first movie? What is it about? Now we are going to move to the second movie. Now it's also, we're going to do the same thing. We have the covered parts. We can say that it is an animated movie. It shows, which is about lion cubs. There was a powerful and wise king, an abrupt end. Now abrupt is a word that is mentioned also with animated. Murders, drives away. We have exile in the jungle, carefree, battle with his evil uncle. So now you can relate between something that is animated. There is a wise king, an evil uncle, and at the end reclaim his family throne. So can you guess what the movie is or not? Of course, we have here animated. We can see the meaning of a movie or image made using techniques or copying the real life. Now there are many animated movies that we can see and we know. Also, the other word that I highlighted in the paragraph, which is abrupt. Now abrupt here, from the word here, or the picture, sorry, you can see that there is like a track or a railway here, and suddenly it stops. Okay, so it's cut. Now usually we are used to these railways or the tracks, they are connected to each other. But if suddenly there is nothing left, we can say that it is something that is sudden or unexpected. We do not expect this track to stop here. So this means that it is something that is abrupt. And actually you can also relate to the pronunciation of the word when I say that we have something abrupt, which means that you have the feeling of something that is sudden, a sudden stop, a sudden pronunciation that is different. So here, there are ways to just relate and remember these vocabulary or the words that you learn every day. Now we are going to listen to the same paragraph. Also, did you guess what the film is? Okay.
About the story. This animated film presents the story of a lion cub's journey to adulthood. The cub is the son of a powerful and wise king. But his happy childhood comes to an abrupt end when his evil uncle murders his father and drives him away from the kingdom. The young lion goes into exile in the jungle, where he makes two good friends and lives a carefree life. However, as he gets older, he dreams of his father, who tells him to battle his evil uncle and reclaim his family throne.
So this is our second paragraph. Now we are going to move on to film number 3. Now the last paragraph, film number 2, was an easy one, animated. I'm sure that you guessed right what is the film. We are going to move on to film number 3. You can see that we have something that is action, adventure, comedy, many genres together. We are talking in the movie about something that is small, extremely fast. There are adventures. There's something mentioned about other planet. Someone is feeling lonely. There we have emotions here, and there's something that is secret. Speed is related also. You can see that we have extremely fast and speed. So relate to something that is speedy or fast. Playing baseball. We have here evil genius. Investigate. So who usually does investigations, and we have here some people, they are evil, so you can relate to the idea of speed. We have someone who's lonely, and also we can complete with meets friends. There is a sheriff mentioned, and capturing. Now here we have an idea. You can just guess from these words what is the idea that we have in this paragraph. Now we do have one word, which is capturing. Usually we use the word capture when we say that we want to screenshot or capture a photo. This is one usage for it. Also, animals or criminals, they may be captured. Now, this is why I can say that we have here the action of capturing or being captured, taken to one's possession or control by force. So all of these meanings, they can be we can just say that something is captured or someone is captured. Now there are different uses for the word capture. So we have here, this is the third. Now we are going to move on. Did you guess the film correctly? We are going to just move on and listen to the third film here.
About the story, this action-adventure comedy film is about a small, extremely fast, blue hedgehog called Sonic, and his adventures on Earth. After traveling to Earth from another planet, Sonic spends many lonely years living in secret near the fictional town of Green Hills, Montana, in the United States. One night, he runs at supersonic speed while playing baseball by himself, and this causes a power outage in a large part of the country, so the government asks evil genius Dr. Robotnik to investigate. Luckily, Sonic meets and becomes friends with local town sheriff Tom Wachowski, and the two team up to stop Dr. Robotnik from capturing Sonic and using his powers to rule the world.
Okay, so we have here actually the film names itself, and we discovered from the paragraph what is the film or the name of the film. Now moving on to film number 4. Film number 4, we have the same thing, but this time we have a documentary. Now a documentary is a type of film also. Now documentary, it is about life, career, and an untimely death. This is an interesting word that we have in the vocab, untimely death. Reveals unknown, there's something about better known qualities, a celebrity. So since it is a documentary, it is about a celebrity, and very clear that it is something related to his untimely death. We have, of course, his life and career. There was a new project. There was something ironic that happened. We have a name of a movie, A Game of Death, rare camera shots, an attempt to convey his ambitions and frame of mind. So can you guess who is the character here, or what is the documentary about? It is about the life of a certain person here. Now there is the word untimely here. We can say that untimely of an event or action happening or done at an unsuitable time. So we have here untimely. Of course, there are words that we have already learned. Now, untimely means that something has happened at an unexpected or an unsuitable time. Now, moving on. Have you guessed what or who is the film about? Now we're going to listen to the paragraph together.
About the story. This is a documentary about Bruce Lee's life, career, and untimely death. It reveals a side of Lee unknown to the public, along with the better-known qualities of the celebrity, the man that the world knew. Lee had been working on a new project at the time of his death, ironically titled Game of Death. Rare camera shots have been included in the documentary according to Lee's own script notes in an attempt to convey his ambitions for the project and his frame of mind toward the end of his life.
So here, the third film here, it's the same as the second. There is something mentioned, or actually, this is going to be the fourth. We have the third and the fourth. It's clear, very clear and obvious who is the movie about or what it is about. Now we come to the end. We have the last movie here to guess together. Now the movie here, we're going to see what kind of movie. It is real life, which means that we have something that is non-fiction here. It is about a prominent mathematician. Now, do you remember when we talked about the famous figures that we took in Unit 2? Now, we said some of these figures who were influential people, they were prominent businessmen. So just to remind you, what is the meaning of prominent? Now, we have here, he is a mathematician, he portrays struggle. There is something about delusions. Now, if you do not know what is the meaning of delusions here, of course, there is something connected to mental. We have here promising academic career, remarkable advancement. We have a game theory. The story also mentions his wife. We have here stands by, therapy, eventually, resume, and there is something about a Nobel Prize. And we have another word that we're going to learn, which is prestigious. Now, here you can see that we have here three words that are in our vocabulary part here that we're going to learn together. So the first one, you see like here the word delusion. Now, like this picture here, do you actually think that this picture is moving or not? No, sometimes things happen that we think that they are true, but they are not true. Like a picture, when we feel that this picture is moving, but actually it is not. So we have here the word delusions, something untrue. Then we have here, if you can see that there is a red carpet, we have here lights. Now this is a formal place, or we can say that it is prestigious, which is the meaning. We have here words that are related like inspiring, respected, and admired, having high status. This leads us to our last word, which is actually not a new word. As we mentioned in Unit 2, we have someone who is important or famous. We can say that he is or she is prominent. Now, did you guess the film correctly? Let's listen to the last part.
About the story, based on the real-life story of prominent mathematician John Nash, this film portrays Nash's struggle with his delusions caused by a mental condition. Nash starts a seemingly promising academic career and makes a remarkable advancement in game theory, when he begins having delusions and struggles to maintain control over his mental state. His wife, Alicia, stands by him through years of therapy, and he is eventually able to resume his research and goes on to win the prestigious Nobel Prize.
Also, in this part, we can discover what is the name of the movie from the name of the scientist or the mathematician who is the famous John Nash. Now, we have here on page 49, we have mainly which TV films did you guess correctly? We do have our exercise, which I'm going to leave for you for homework, which is on page 49, just to fill in the blanks. Now, I want you to just go back, read the words and read the sentences and relate to them so you can fill them correctly. Also, we have comprehension questions that I would like you to just read and think about. We have number 1, which TV film talks about growing up and assuming an adult's responsibilities. Number 2, which TV films are set in places that don't exist in real life? Just think about different answers. Number 3, in which films does the character have superpowers? Number 4, which 2 TV films are biographical? Now, these questions I want you just to think about, and you can relate to many answers. They can concern the paragraphs that we have here in the book, and you can just go on and think about other types of movies that you have watched. At the very end, we have our pair work, which is on page number 49. Now, the pair work, you are asked in pairs to create your own clues for 1 or 2 TV films or documentaries you have seen. Read the clues to your class and see if they can guess the film or documentary. So as we have had our lesson here and we guessed what are the movies and then discovered what they are, you can do the same thing with other examples with your classmates. At the very end, our outline, first discuss different preferable TV programs and movies. Then we listen to understand context through words and define vocabulary throughout our lesson. At the very end, after listening, we guessed the names of the films and discussed movie topics in general. Now, this is our lesson, which was a very enjoyable lesson. We do have our next lesson, which is grammar, and we're going to relate between the different genres that we studied in this lesson, so be ready.